Hey everybody, welcome. I am live on YouTube and I've got some big news if you are a YouTuber who has the Starlink system for your internet access, or if you're thinking about getting Starlink for internet access. I want to share something really big with you. This is my Starlink dish. This is the RV. And I am live now. Actually, I'm streaming to you over Starlink, so we'll see how well that works. Let me explain a couple of things to you. And if you don't know much about Starlink and you don't know even how to get it, I can't help you out much here because you really need to do some basic research. But it's a very simple system that gives you incredibly high-speed internet. So there's my dish right there. And man, this thing really is doing a great job for me. Starlink has just enabled remote access. Now, what does that mean? That means that everybody has to register. When you get Starlink, you have to sign up for a home area. And there are lots of different home areas that people have, but many of them in populated areas in particular are already oversubscribed. He's launching new, Elon Musk, Starlink is launching new, SpaceX is launching new satellites almost every month. They just put up 57 new satellites last week. There's something like 2,700 of them orbiting now. Most of the continental North America is covered. Of course, the Ukraine, he's made it available in the Ukraine. But for RVers, this has been a real interest for them because many areas are already oversubscribed. They don't want to stress out each location, so you might look at your hometown and you can't get it, but 10 miles away you can, or 50 miles away you can. For example, when I signed up for mine, I tried to get it from Michigan. It was oversubscribed, and then I was in Florida at our condo down there, and so I tried it there and it was available. I got it, and I've had Starlink now for about 2 months. However, what happens for RVers who travel from place to place? It's been possible to use it. Early on, it was you had to do a lot of hunting and searching and seeing if you're in a different part of the country away from your home area. You had to see where the nearest area was to you, and then you had to change your address through the Starlink app, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And then about a little over a month ago, RVers noticed that, not all, but some were noticing on their Starlink account page that they had a feature called roaming that was enabled or made true instead of this default false. They tried it in different spots and wow, it worked. I think that was a test really, because as of yesterday, Starlink has now announced that it has enabled remote access to its system for $25 a month more. Hello to, who's that? I can't see. Rodney. Hi, Rodney. They've enabled it for $25 a month more. Now, that makes it going to cost you about $135 a month if you're going to enable it for remote work. It's still pretty good price for unlimited and unthrottled access. Usually, I'll give you a couple of cautions about that in a minute. But that is a big deal. That means now, for example, I'm in Michigan. I'm about 1,200 miles away from my home, my registered home for Starlink in Florida. I'm in Michigan, and I just plugged this thing in on a picnic table outside our campsite, and that's it. I connected at pretty good speeds, about 100 megabits down and about 70 megabits up. That is not the best speeds that this system gets. Usually they're all in the hundreds, but it's still better than I would get from cable or from cellular internet. And it was so simple to hook up. I basically just plugged my router in, plugged the wire from this dish, you see it running across the grass there, into the router, and I was connected. I'm streaming away now just as good as can be. So this is a big deal. I mentioned one caveat, and that is remote access as the system is being built out. Remember, 2,700 satellites maybe now, eventually wants to have 40,000. And as they ramp that up, they're opening up more features like the remote access. But if you are not in your home area, and that is a very busy or congested, oversubscribed area, they may prioritize home traffic, people from home access, or people, you know, that are operating out of their home area, because we're interlopers, we're roaming and remote, so we may not get quite the speed that everybody else does. I'm still pretty impressed with what I'm getting here, and it's really good. So this is just a temporary system. I just wanted to see if it would work, and you know, it took 2 minutes to set up, and that's just set up there. I'll show you my system that I want to do, and I've got to do a little figuring it out. But obviously, I don't like having this cable right here running all the way around and up and across the lawn like that. That's just, I don't know, goes against my OCD nature, I guess. So my challenge is this cable, by the way, right here, they give it, it comes to Starlink, it's about 75 feet, and it plugs into a router. And it's the router that sets up the internet access. So let me show you what I have done. I didn't want to drill a hole to run that wire in, so I didn't do that. I just stuck it in one of my storage cabinets. This is the wet bay, and I learned about this from several other RVers. This is there's a little mouse hole there, so I was able to run the cable up, and then I ran an extension cord for the 110 hookup, because it does need power for the router. So I stuck the router in there, and it's working just fine. Now, I can use that little tripod and the dishy just like I have it on the picnic table there, but my solution for travel is going to be right here on this ladder at the back of my RV. I am going to mount a telescoping pole on that ladder, and then put the dishy on top of that. So it gets up on the roof. That's about 13 feet high, and by the time I mount the pole, it'll be about 16 feet. And that will even give me, I think, a little better access. And I'm hoping that will work at my Tennessee land, where I have a lot of trees. I had a question there, but it's hard in the sunlight to answer your question, so maybe I'll move around the other side of the RV. Although I bet you want to see more of the dishy, so I'll show you that. Just some quick impressions. Again, every time I've fired this up, I've just been amazed. This thing automatically finds the location. It's moving slightly as it tracks the satellites up above. It's just this little tiny tripod right here, and it works really well. Some of the RVers that I've talked to take that cable that runs between the dish and the router, and they have found a couple of ways. Like this rig has satellite cabling wired from up on the roof, and it comes out right at the entertainment console. However, they have a proprietary connector on the router and on the cable here for the router and for the dishy. So you'd have to put a different connector on both of those, and I think that's just messing around with it. I'm sure that they're going to come up with adapters and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to wait for that instead of trying to hook it up to that. But that would be the ideal situation: get a shorter cable and plug it in there. So as soon as they come up with cables with adapters, it'll be good. Other RVers take a slide out and just kind of tuck that in through there. I could do that. Hello, Mike says, traveling Merlin and Sue. Just wondering, what was the last price you paid for fuel? $5.09 yesterday. That's what I paid. Yeah. And that's good. Thanks for saying the internet's working good. And let's see, break up at times. I think that's just the wind. It is windy out here. And looking at any questions that I can pull up from there, but that's what I got so far. So anyway, some of them are connecting the wire in through the slide out and bringing it in that way. Quite frankly, the router in one of these external cable cabinets works really good, and I probably will keep doing that. I can tuck this wire under and make it look nice. right now, this is for when I'm permanently set up at camp, or I'm stopped traveling. I'm at camp. So setting it up every time you go and you break camp, it's going to take a few minutes, but not very long. I'm going to try and work through on that system a little bit. There have been some RVers who are actually doing some experimentation, and they've been able to set that dishy, mount it flat. They've adapted some mounts and put it on the roof of their RV, and they've been able to use it in motion. Starlink makes it clear that you're not supposed to do that at this point, but nevertheless, they do. All right, that's the live thing for now. I don't know if we got any more questions that I need to take. Let me kind of go through here. I don't see any. It's so hard to see anything when you're outside on the screen. But that's big news. Starlink now available for remote use by RVers and others as well. They do charge you for it. You pay an extra 25 bucks, but that's not a bad amount of money, is it, for this kind of access. Thank you guys for watching. Do us a favor and like this, if you will. This is kind of like an insert, a little live breaking news story. And when you do that, also click the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. I'll do a whole video, a produced video on how we're hooking up Starlink, and that'll be coming out fairly soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.